Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:34 in Hart with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Going to be sunny and hot today with a high of 89. Tomorrow, thunderstorms with a high of 81. And then crap for the rest of the weekend. So looking forward to that. 60 in downtown Springfield.
See, now I got a high of 94. I don't know whose source is right.
This is for East Longmeadow. I'm doing East Longmeadow weather.
I did the Springfield.
5 degrees cooler in East Longmeadow?
I wouldn't think so, but maybe there's some sort of underground magma that's keeping the city a little bit toastier than everybody else.
I mean, it's what, 4 miles away? Like from downtown to downtown?
True, but if you ever stand like one side of a house and it's nice and cool, and the other side of the house and it's a little bit too warm?
Well, where's the weather thingy? Where is one like being held right at the top of the spire at the Basketball Hall of Fame, and the other one is here behind a bank?
I wish I had answers for you, Steve. I just don't.
All the shade from the banks that we have here.
Comedian Katie Arroyo is going to be joining us. She's going to be at Roar Comedy Club on Saturday night for a big fat comedy show. It's going to be absolutely hilarious, and she'll be here to talk about that and more.
Yeah, and I'll be joining her on stage too.
That's crazy.
How about that?
Plus, we got stuff to give away as well. That and more. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 5:52 in the Rolling Stones of Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be sunny and hot. Bax seems to think 94. I got 89. But with the wildfire smoke, it's probably going to be somewhere a little bit lower than that.
Maybe. Listen, to me, it's not really worth arguing. 84, 92, it's all very warm.
Because the Doppler doesn't pick up the wildfire smoke. That's what I heard some meteorologists say yesterday. Anyway, it's 60 in downtown Springfield.
Hollywood Trash is brought to you by Western Mass Masons. Call them for all your foundation and chimney needs.
Somehow you still care about what's happening in Hollywood. So, from Tinseltown, 3,000 miles away, it's Steve Nagle's Hollywood Trash.
Forbes released their 2025 list for the country's 100 richest self-made women, and you are nowhere on that list.
Ah, damn.
There are 16 celebrities who made the cut. Number 13, Oprah Winfrey at $3.1 billion. Kim Kardashian is number 2 at $1.7 billion. Taylor Swift has a $1.6 billion. Holy crap. And Rihanna, they're the billionaires. $1 billion.
They are suddenly 9 times more appealing to me right now.
Yeah, I guess so. Judge Judy, she pulls in $580 million a year.
Even still?
Yeah, well, because all those shows are in syndication. She probably made a good deal for herself when she realized how popular she was getting years ago.
She must have known a good lawyer.
Yeah. And a tie between Ellen DeGeneres and Dolly Parton at $450 million.
Except the only name on that whole list that the money is declining would be Ellen DeGeneres.
Well, is it declining?
Oh, I don't think it's coming in the same speed that it used to.
Probably not. White Lotus co-stars Walter Goggins and Amy Lou Wood Amy Lou are setting the record straight on their alleged issues. In an interview with Variety, Goggins says, quote, "There's no feud. I love this woman madly, and she's so important to me. This is Goldie Hawn. This is Meg Ryan. She can do anything, and she will. You watch what the next 20 years of her experience will be." He added, "She's special. There's no feud. She is love, and I know that I am to her. We care about each other deeply." So,
all right, well, that's good enough for me.
There's no, is it good enough for you?
Well, I wasn't really invested in their alleged feud, to be honest.
Well, somebody was.
Yeah, somebody was really into this.
Yeah.
I probably was not that guy.
I don't think, does anybody even care about Hollywood people anymore?
Not the same. Well,
really, it's not. I don't think it's the same sense that we used to with the Entertainment Tonight's and the what's that other show?
Inside Edition.
Inside Edition, yeah.
Well, now we've had 2 Walton Goggins stories in 2 days. This one, and then yesterday when I told you he's bare-ass naked and Righteous Gemstones with his business hanging out while he's water skiing.
I bet
It's
you
almost too much
paused it.
Walton Goggins for me.
I think you paused that, and you probably replayed it a couple of times just to make sure that you didn't like it.
Well, to be honest, Steve, I didn't have the remote.
It's just on the loop.
No,
Yeah.
no. My wife had it.
She might have been watching it.
She might have been,
Yeah.
sure.
And she's like, and then she's looking at that, and then she's looking at you. She's looking at that. She's looking at you, and you're like, where did I go wrong?
I'm sure in her mind that conversation happened.
There's White Lotus. I got White Slotus over here.
Slothus.
Slothus. We have Jeffrey Rush to thank for convincing Orlando Bloom to star as Will Turner in 2003's Pirates of the Caribbean. He originally wasn't into it. Orlando says, quote, "My agent said Disney wants to make a movie based on a theme park ride, and I was like, this is crazy." It wasn't until he talked to Jeffrey that he changed his mind. They were filming Ned Kelly together in Australia at the time. Orlando added, quote, "Jeffrey Rush says I owe him 10%. As you know, Jeffrey was also in Pirates series as Captain Barbossa. Barbossa.
Right.
Well, I guess he was wrong. A lot of people.
I don't know. Still fun movies to watch, though.
I like those movies. That was a pretty good series of them.
I like them
Johnny
too.
Depp's pretty good. That Amber Heard one was really good.
Yeah, by the way, that was not a ship on the ocean.
That wasn't buried treasure she was looking for. He was looking for.
No, it wasn't a nautical vessel on that mattress.
In The Outsiders, Patrick Swayze was just one of several up-and-coming studs in the cast, and he wasn't even the most famous one at the time, but he found a way to stand out. There's a famous group publicity photo that you've probably seen before in which Swayze is taller than the other men. What you may not have noticed is he's standing on bricks to make himself look taller than the rest of them.
Was he short?
Yeah, he was a very short guy.
I had no idea.
Well, I mean, most people, like Tom Cruise doesn't look very short, but apparently he's a very short man.
Yeah.
Don't want no short man.
See, now it's weird because I'm thinking about that Saturday Night Live thing with him and Farley, that Chippendales thing.
Yeah.
Chris and I were practically the same height,
Yeah.
and Swayze was only a couple inches taller than him. I don't think he was all that short.
Yeah, but when you start putting it, who knows what they do as far as like shoe lifts go and things
Yeah, I
like
guess.
that, so to make you look taller than you actually are.
I suppose.
I mean, look at like politicians when they do those debates, and everybody's at the same height. That's usually how that works.
oh, see, I always thought that candidates had to be at least 5'9" or taller.
No, they put them on pedestals and things like that.
We should never be putting politicians on pedestals.
Yeah, but they have been doing that for years. I don't know.
I don't get it.
But anyway, Patrick Swayze was a little short guy. He was shorter than Ralph Macchio at the time. Well, Ralph Macchio is a fairly tall kid, I guess, anyway, right?
Is he?
Yeah, Rob Lowe has said in the past that people often hand him that photo to sign, and when he does, he circles the bricks. What a dick. Guy's dead. It's not even like he can defend himself.
Yeah, but you know what? That's still funny.
Yeah. I guess that's Rob Lowe's humor, right? Let's see. Tommy Boy. We were talking about Chris Farley. The 1995 cinematic classic Tommy Boy turns 30 years old this year.
Jesus.
And it's getting its own celebration in Sandusky, Ohio, where the movie was set. Tommy Boy Fest goes down August 7th through the 9th. Obviously, Chris Farley won't be there, and David Spade isn't booked either. So, in fact, no stars from the movie are scheduled to be there. But director Peter Segal, along with the actual car from the movie, is going to be there. Activities will include screenings, live music, a classic car show, lookalike contest, and Tommy Want Wingy Throwdown.
And probably no Q&A at the end, right?
Well, if there's nobody there,
There's lots of Q's, no A's.
there's only the director. Who wants to talk to the director, right? And Kim Kardashian.
Remember when you directed Tommy Boy?
Remember?
It was great.
That was cool. Kim Kardashian is facing a defamation lawsuit after posting a photo of a random man claiming he was executed last Tuesday in Texas.
Really? Well, he must have had something to say.
Oh my God, the last time I wrongfully identified someone, I was bent over a Roomba in a ski mask moaning, "Yes, officer, that's the man who glazed my ham flap in that sex tape with Ray J in that you can purchase on YouPorn for $39.95.
But at least the floors are being vacuumed.
Yeah.
Caitlin?
Well, I never got that down and dirty with your mother, Chris Kim, but I once tagged her in a photo of my bikini wax, and I still haven't apologized for what I did to the entire Golden Corral buffet in Memphis that one summer when I thought it was a pop-up OnlyFans shoot. I never went full conjugal on. We never went full conjugal on each other, but she did once pop out of a laundry basket and clamp jumper cables to my pleasure pedals. She called it shock therapy. I called it the day my labia learned Morse code.
What are you trying to say?
Honestly, the only thing more terrifying than misidentifying that man was that yacht trip with Hulk Hogan and a ferret named Clamps. I don't remember how it ended, but I woke up in Cabo with nipple piercings and a tattoo that said property of Pauly Shore. So yeah, mistakes were made, but in my defense, the man did have the exact look in his eyes as Pauly Shore did when I told him my back door was valet only. Ta-da! And that is your Hollywood trash at Rock 102.
LPNs and direct care.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, you know me. I'm a broken down old man who's become deeply set in my ways and become resistant to progress. I'm at an age where I like things done the way they used to be, free from all the newfangled thingamabobs and doodads that define the future. Believe you me, I'm just a few short years away from being unable to operate even the simplest machines, appliances, and electronic devices. And when it comes to making changes to the things I know and the places I go, well, that's only going to cause problems. This week, the Boston Red Sox announced plans to build a $1.6 billion seven-story office building on Lansdowne Street in Boston, just behind the Green Monster at Fenway Park. The idea is to construct a building that will not only house the team's corporate headquarters, but will also include retail space, terrace seating, and a number of things that the average slob like you and me will never have access to. Here's the bad part. The new building will mean the demolition of the two-story parking garage by Gate C. It'll also mean the demolition of the House of Blues. And now the really bad part. The construction of this building will also come at a physical cost in which the iconic Citgo sign over the Green Monster would be obscured from view at certain angles. Folks, this is an outrage. How dare they take this stunning 113-year-old historical structure and fiddle around with its breathtaking views? To me, the Citgo sign not only serves as a friendly piece of heartwarming nostalgia, but I also happen to be a big fan of international refineries of transportation fuels, lubricants, petrochemicals, and other industrial products with ties to the Venezuelan government. Those are the same ties and industrial products that my father enjoyed as a kid. The same petrochemicals that my late grandfather played with as a boy. And now they want to change it all up because their current office space just isn't good enough? Well, neither is the product in the field. And frankly, I'd rather have you work on rebuilding projects like that before you worry about what's going to get built across the street. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. So your dad's old school, huh? Probably has sticky fingers on vinyl and a Weber kettle grill. Let me tell you something. The Weber kettle grill is the original charcoal grill. Same as it ever was since it was first built in 1952. And it's on sale right now for Father's Day at Rocky's for just $150. Again, you'll find that at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock at 6:15 and AC/DC with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Going to be sunny and hot today with a high of anywhere from 89 to 94. Tomorrow, thunderstorms with a high of 81. It is 60 right now in downtown Springfield. So I had an interesting day yesterday. I left here early.
Right.
And I went home, and I was telling you yesterday about the guinea pig that we have.
Yes.
And that it's been showing signs of distress and things like that. And
this is a busy time of the year.
Well, yeah, there's lots of things going on. And but it was having a little bit of skin issues, and something was going on with it, and it was hard for me to find somebody who takes care of exotic pets. And I finally found, after calling 50 other places, the place in West Springfield, this veterinary, whatever, specialty, emergency hospital, kind of thing.
Right.
Which doesn't come cheap. We talked about, roughly $250. It was just for the visit.
Wow.
So I go all the way home. I get the carrier and I scoop up little Bailey into the carrier. And I get her in the car and bring her down to the vet. And so you're waiting in the waiting room. Big bougie hospital, by the way.
Beautiful.
Well, it's brand new.
Sick animals as far as the eye can see.
Well, there was other people in there with their own issues with their own pets, but here I am. I think I was the only exotic that day.
Yeah, right.
Usually that's how that works. I'm the only exotic one in the room.
I mean, a big burly fella like yourself with a little tiny guinea pig must have been a very intimidating presence.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. Well, what's her name? That kind of thing. So I wait there. They bring me into an exam room. They ask me a bunch of questions about the guinea pig, and this is the technician now. And there's you can clearly see that this whatever this skin thing is has progressed very quickly within the last 3 weeks. Like it wasn't. This wasn't something that was lingering for a long time. There's just there was something going on with this thing. And, the technician's like, well, we're going to have the doctor come in. And, part of the visit is taking tests and, seeing if maybe it has ringworm, maybe it has mites or, something like that.
Right.
And so the doctor finally comes in and he looks like Seth Rogen, which made it just weird.
Heavy set Seth Rogen or the one that lost weight Seth Rogen?
Well, in between.
Okay. Transitional Seth
Rogen. And nice guy. And he starts explaining and he's like, wow. He's like, I'm not sure what this is.
You said, well, it's a guinea pig.
No, I didn't say that. And he's like, I'm not sure what's going on here. And he goes, usually, and he's describing what ringworm is like. And he's like, that doesn't really kind of look like ringworm. And it also doesn't kind of look like mites. And he's like, it might be microscopic mites. And yada, yada, yada. We get to the point where he says, well, there's also a swollen lymph node over here on the jawline of the guinea pig. Right?
Oh, boy.
So he goes through this whole, they come back in and they present this treatment plan for the guinea pig.
Yes.
And including the visit, this testing and all this other stuff, you're talking about $800 and something for the day. Right?
Okay.
That's the max it could be. It doesn't have to be that much, depending on
because they're a veterinary practice with the heart.
Well, yeah. There was like a range. It was like $600 to almost $900. I guess it was.
Okay.
It was the range, and I'm like, I don't know what to do because my kid is at school. I'm here by myself. I don't have the ability to sit down and explain, what's going on. So I went ahead and did some of these tests that we were looking at.
Okay.
Right? And to the tune of $624 it came to. Right?
Okay.
And I'm like, all right, fine. And they were going to give me medicine because, maybe we can work on the skin issue kind of thing. And I opted not to do the biopsy, the sending out for the biopsy thing. And
wasn't yesterday Biopsy Wednesday?
It was Biopsy
buy one,
Wednesday,
get
and I
half
missed
off.
it. And so
the biopsy BOGO.
They had given it some pain medication, to make it more comfortable.
Right.
And then they said, okay, well, there's a possibility this thing has cancer. Like, that's what that lymph node is. That's why all these problems are occurring with the thing, because it's not typical of ringworm and it's not typical of these mites that these things can get. And I said, okay, well, at least let's try to treat the skin problem thing and we'll go from there, kind of. And I'll bring her home. And so they give her the medicine. They give me the medicine. They package it all up. I put her back in a little carrier, right? She's all comfy in there. She's kind of gorked out from all the meds that she's now had.
Sure.
And about, I don't know, maybe 8 minutes away from the vet, I look over into the carrier, and the guinea pig is not breathing, and it died. So I turned around, and I went back to the vet.
Are you kidding me? Really?
Yeah. And I went back to the vet, and I was like, what? I was just here. Like, this thing wasn't, it was like okay in a sense. And they did a scan on it for free, by the way.
Wow, that was very kind of them.
Like an X-ray or whatever. And there was cancer all over this thing's body. The guinea pig's body. Yeah. So So I had to put this. They also gave me a box for free to take it home in.
Man, you thought that there was no end to the charges that they would lay on you, but they clearly have compassion.
Well, at least I got reimbursed for the medication.
Again?
Yeah.
Did you leave a tip?
Yeah. Yeah, he spun the thing around and said, you can leave a tip if you want. Didn't you see me last night at the Xfinity Center?
Dude, this is an awful story.
It is an awful story. It is an awful story. So this was my day yesterday. My whole day was filled with this, and I'm and now, like, here I am. I'm by myself. I don't have my kid with me. I don't. It was awful.
Nobody was there to hold you?
Nobody was there to hold me because I could have used that. Where were you? Huh? Where were you?
Oh, I was
sitting on your couch in Hamden, probably in the air conditioning.
Well, no, I had a fan on.
So I, he's explaining to me, and I get it. Like the lifespan, this thing is like 4.5 years old. The lifespan on guinea pigs it's 5 years is the average lifespan of one of these things.
He lived a good life.
She lived a good life.
She lived a good life.
Yes, but it's just, here I am, and now I have to go home and deliver bad news, which wouldn't be the first time I've done that. So I'm kind of well-versed in it, So without getting into that portion of it, the long story short of it is we wound up taking it up to a place in Blandford at the animal hospital there to get it cremated for an extra $94. So we're talking a $700.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I don't know if you want.
No, I didn't want that. Sorry,
they're probably shipping it out to Boston to get it cremated.
Oh my God.
It was a day yesterday. It was a long day, and it was pretty heavy actually. It was a very heavy day.
It's a brutal story.
Yeah. Well,
here I was thinking we were going to have a lot of laughs today. I got a comedian coming in, and now we're talking about.
Well, we'll get to that.
I would hope so.
We'll eventually get to that. But I just somebody said to me yesterday, I can't believe you spent all that money. I'm like, yeah, I'm not like heartless. I made the joke yesterday about the Rainbow Bridge because that, first of all, that's just my humor anyway.
Sure.
But also, like, I have compassion for the animal too. It's not like, and I'm gonna do what I can do to at least prolong the life so we can enjoy the rest of the time we have left with it.
Of course.
If I just don't understand why this thing couldn't have held out for at least another hour. Even if
it was just another hour, you'd still be making another trip back to West Springfield to what gives.
Either way, but it was just it was just like one of these days, and I got some good sleep last night eventually.
Well, thank God.
Yeah, that's the end of the guinea pig story. Sorry it wasn't funny for you.
No, it's not at all.
But
wow,
By the way, the Rick's Place event is coming up on June 21st.
You'll take donations in Bailey's name.
Yeah, we're having a 5K run for her.
It's 626 on Rock 102. 629 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
What's your favorite horrible pet death story? 293-1021.
What's the biggest tragedy in your family today?
Welcome back to Grief Radio here at Rock 102 this morning. The forecast. Liam Neeson is missing again. Hopefully he'll be back next hour. It's going to be sunny today with a high of 94. Tomorrow, mix of sun and clouds. Some thunderstorms possible in the afternoon with a high of 81 and 60 right now in downtown Springfield. Do you want to laugh at least?
What I would do.
It's Bax and Nagle's joke of the day.
I'm funny how? I mean, funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you.
On Rock 102.
I make you laugh.
Springfield's classic rock.
All right, so an infinite line of mathematicians walk into a bar.
Okay.
The first one orders a beer, the second one orders a half a beer, and the third one orders a quarter of a beer. And the bartender starts catching on. He pours 2 beers and says, "You guys need to learn your limits." You get it? It's a math joke.
It's a math joke.
Yeah. See, that brightened up the mood.
Yeah,
didn't
boy,
it?
it really put a ray of sunshine in this show.
There you go.
Bax and Nagle in the morning on Rock 102. Springfield's classic rock.
Picture this, a pizza...
6:33 with Bax and Nagle and Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Big Y, your family market. Here's local radio icon Steve Nagle.
We're awful people. You know that?
Well, I think, okay, if I may peel back the curtain just ever so slightly.
No, don't peel the whole curtain back.
We had a conversation that was wildly inappropriate because that's just what the two of us do in between the commercials, right?
Right.
And I made a joke that was kind of like, dude, what the hell? And even as I'm saying it as I'm thinking it in my head, I'm going, I don't want to tell him this.
Well,
I don't want to tell him a joke.
I brought up a story. Then you said there was dead silence in here for a couple of seconds, and then and I knew you were going to say something because I could see your head moving. And I started even laughing before you got it out because I knew where you were going with it. You say it. And then I start laughing, and then I add my own little 2 cents to it. And,
and then we go on, and this is what you folks miss.
And this is like, hey, can you guys do what you do when you're not on the air? No, we can never do that. Ever.
I wouldn't. You and I could not have that conversation anywhere else in the world but this very room.
Yeah,
you wouldn't take that conversation out in a bar.
You can't do that.
No, you can't take it out in public. You can only do it between you and me. Because that's the kind of sick bastards we've become.
All right, let's move on to actual news,
yes,
perhaps.
Please.
Multiple Springfield police cruisers have been spotted on Byers Street in Springfield Thursday morning. All right?
Okay.
Byers Street is right off Pearl Street near the Springfield Police Department. 22 news crews are seeing multiple police cruisers, police, and a canine going in and out of a apartment building. An ambulance can also be seen. It's unclear why they are all there at this time. Byers Street is roped off to an area apartment building.
Did anybody bother to ask, hey, what's all this then?
No, isn't it more, isn't it kind of like, I don't know, adding mystery to it when you're just telling people what you saw? Like it's like a draw your own conclusion story.
Yeah, right. It's the Mad Libs of news. But I would like to know a little bit more about why all this was happening. To me, that's more newsy. That's more practical.
It's like an episode of Dora. Police car, policeman, canine, ambulance. Not a rainbow ribbon in sight, though.
No.
Yeah. Where's Boots?
Yeah, where's Boots when you need them?
Yeah,
they're probably looking for a swiper.
Yeah. Swiper, no swiping. Oh, man! Springfield is cracking down on illegal gas station weed throughout the city. On Wednesday, Mayor Dom Dom, along with other city officials, announced a new ordinance that's aimed at illegal gas station weed. This type is targeting youth and putting the public's health at risk. Gas station weed has unregulated artificial THC in it that's being used and packaged as chip bags or candy bars in gas stations and bodegas. The commissioner's office teamed up with the mayor's office to, burping up that coffee there. Teamed up with the mayor's office to warn the public. Last year, the state's public health commissioner said that Massachusetts has seen an increasing number of youth that are being hospitalized due to these products. In Wednesday's news conference, city officials shared their concerns and are pushing for consequences such as fines. $300 each. You got 10 pieces? That's 3,000 G's, said Mayor Dom Dom. You got 100? That's $30,000.
You know, I saw this story yesterday, and all I could think of is, listen, if you are the kind of person that's like too, like you would never eat like an egg salad sandwich that you bought at a gas station or a hot dog that's been on a roller for like 2 or 3 days. If you wouldn't go and eat one of those things, what makes you think that you're getting high quality weed at the very same place?
I don't know. But people buy things at gas stations and bodegas all the time that are uncouth. Remember, comedian John Moses that we've had on the show here before. He had a whole series of videos, and they're still online. He was critiquing gas station penis pills, and he'd give a soft to hard rating, 1 to 5,
right,
of which one worked the best. Because you walk in there and you see them, you're like, rock star or, whatever.
Did he sample all these things?
Oh yeah, he sampled them all, and he actually did them. And then he would show a picture, just a selfie of himself shirtless in bed with a how many fingers up of the rating of 1 to hard.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. But given the choice between a pre-wrapped muffin that's been under a light for a month.
All right, a muffin maybe.
And a bag full of weed. I'm going to think that, maybe there's got to be better weed out there.
The muffin I could go for. I wouldn't necessarily go for the gas station. There's plenty of dispensaries around.
Yeah, I know, but did you ever have like a gas station muffin and you bite into it and you say, this was a tremendous mistake?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with the weed. You're having like you're smoking it, or it's an edible or whatever.
Yeah.
You say this is rat poison, is what this is.
Yeah, but it gives you the effect that you want, and they're more worried about the teenagers buying the stuff because obviously these owners of these places don't really care who they're selling it to, either. I mean, if there's money to be made, you're not going to be like, where's your ID? They don't care.
ID.
I'm
here to buy ring dings.
I'm here to buy fake marijuana.
And a scratchy.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like it's become so accessible in this way because it's also concealable. It's like a vape. It's a vape. They're talking about these vapes and it's not good for you. I don't even trust the vapes at the dispensaries sometimes. Like just because of the fact that it's a vaping thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there might be real product in there, but the effects of the vape are just as bad as vaping cigarette, vaping the nicotine things. I don't know. Remember the guy in Westfield who was selling magic mushrooms right on the counter?
I sure do.
Yeah. Whatever happened to that guy?
I don't know, but I don't think he's selling the magic mushrooms on the counter anymore.
He still sells bongs in there. I've seen
that's
them.
all right.
They're all over the place. What is gas station weed? The State Newshouse Service states that gas station weed is not the same cannabis that is sold at licensed dispensaries and is often unregulated. They are advertised as a legal hemp product under federal law, but they offer the same kind of high as cannabis. Hemp is defined as cannabis that has more than 0.3% Delta-9 THC, which is the primary psychoactive compound of marijuana, by the dry weight at the time of harvest. This type of hemp-based product has been around for about 6 years, but has been more popular recently. They are marked as things like Delta-8 or Delta-10 or a THC in a bottle. Oh, Wasn't that a police song?
No, that was
THC in a bottle.
No, I believe it was Jim Croce who sang "If I Could Put Weed in a Bottle."
If I could put weed in a bottle. And often become bright in bright packaging, which is sometimes meant to mimic the look of legal products.
I was about to fill my tank, but then I got high.
I was gonna eat that muffin too, but then I got high.
I was gonna go to the car wash as well, but then I got high.
And now I got popcorn lung, and I know why.
Why, Steve?
Because I got high. Because I got high. Because I got high. The Hamden DA's office has shared updates on 2 of the suspects involved in a major drug distribution that were dismantled last month. Hamden DA's office communications director Peyton North shared in a news release that Anthony Perez of Springfield is being held without the right to bail per a 58A hearing. It makes the 58B hearing look like a sidebar meeting.
What goes on in these kinds of meetings?
He is, I don't know. He's scheduled for a bail hearing on July 16th, and a trial date has not been set at this time. An investigation into Perez in the summer of 2024 in connection with the fentanyl and heroin distribution in the Springfield area, law enforcement discovered that Perez was being supplied by a large-scale drug trafficking organization operating both in Springfield and the Bronx. Perez was arraigned on January 17th. In addition, 29 other individuals connected with the operation were arrested across several months, with Perez and his associates facing drug trafficking and firearm-related charges. Ruben Luna, who was also arrested as part of the DA's narcotics takedown, had a 58A hearing on May 28th. He's being held without the right to bail for 120 days. And Luna is among 3 suspects who were arrested during the investigation. And law enforcement seized a large quantity of cocaine, heroin, and narcotic pills across the 3 locations.
Oh, a 58A meeting is a dangerousness hearing.
Oh.
That's what that is.
Why don't they just say that?
I don't know. Person may be held without bail for a period of 120 days, and should one lose, if you were to lose that hearing. I don't know why they didn't say that. I mean, most of us know it is a dangerousness hearing unless you've been through the 58A, and then in which case you're very much aware of it. But for those of us who never break the law, have gotten caught, we wouldn't know what a 58A meeting would be from a 57B.
What about a 56C?
You don't want to know about that. Well, you know about your meeting sizes, right?
You got your A's, your B's, your C's, and your D's.
That's your
the
biggest.
Yeah. A 21-year-old man on Long Island got arrested after a string of TikTok videos where he'd go around to different stores and dump big buckets of food on his head. His name is Kyle Vasquez, and he goes by the TikTok handle Tommy Tough Knuckles.
Okay.
And at last check, the videos were still up. He didn't steal the food. He brought it with him. For example, he celebrated hitting 25,000 followers by walking into a restaurant shirtless and dumping a bucket of black beans on his head. Is this how we get engagement?
I don't know if that's the case. I'm willing to dump something on my head just to get a few likes.
The place had to close early to clean up. He also dumped eggs on himself outside of an Italian ice place, milk on himself outside of a Walgreens. Excuse me, too much Delta THC this morning. And did the ice bucket challenge inside of a grocery store.
All right,
You're an idiot.
Now you're just being stupid.
Each time he'd run off or leave a mess for somebody else to clean up, but that's not really what got him arrested. Cops found his social media page and saw another series of videos where he'd go to people's homes, ask to use the bathroom, and then leave a big mess behind. It looks like those videos have been removed. He's facing 6 counts of recording people without consent, 2 counts of criminal tampering, and up to 4 years in jail. Worth noting, he just crossed 100,000 TikTok followers the other day.
Well, then you know what?
Success.
That was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Totally worth it.
This guy's an idiot. Yeah, I mean, how much money are you actually making from doing this? Do you make a substantial amount? I have no idea because I don't even have anywhere near that many followers. But how much do you actually make?
I think once you
Past
have
10,000,
then all of a sudden the money can roll right in.
I guess so, but to what cost? Here you are dumping food on yourself inside restaurants.
I mean, the cost of eggs alone, that's crazy.
Well, maybe if you're making all that money from you don't even care how much you're spending on the eggs.
I guess not. No, I wouldn't care.
Why can't I come up with a dumb idea like that?
I don't know. I've heard you come up with dumb ideas before. I don't know why I can't just apply them to the TikToks.
Sunny and hot today with a high of 94. Tomorrow, thunderstorms with a high of 80. It's 62 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
It's 6:51 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
I just gave you the forecast.
This week on Baxi's musical podcast, my guest has been Mark Waldock from the band Hallelujah War. This is a guy who's been a fixture in the city of Milwaukee, where I lived for 11 years. And
I was in Milwaukee.
Well, I'm not gonna go way back in time, but I'll tell you, this is a guy who used to work at a record store. I believe I bought records from this guy back in the 80s.
Wow,
I know, it's crazy.
Life comes full circle.
It certainly does, Steve. Anyway, Hallelujah Ward's debut album, Everybody Swoons, came out last week. It's fantastic. And you can hear that interview on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Rock 102 YouTube channel, and on all the Rock 102 digital platforms. On Monday, my guest is David Leaf. He is like the official biographer and documentarian of Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. His brand new book, Smile, The Rise, Fall, and Resurrection of Brian Wilson, it details what may just be the very greatest story in the history of pop music. It's an amazing interview, and again, you'll hear that on Monday. It's all brought to you by Metro Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram at Chicopee and Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
We were just talking about online idiots. The guy dumping the stuff on himself inside the stores and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm an online idiot too. You can see all kinds of videos that I put up there, and the one I put up on the Rock 102 page the other day on the TikToks was. I was at a Halsey concert, and I was talking about how at the merchandise table, after spending $17 on a keychain, that the young man was suggesting that I leave a tip on the keypad thing, and the engagement on this video is actually pretty interesting because it's like a split 50-50 thing. There's people who are like, "No, God, no! Why would you tip on something like that?" Yeah. And then there's people who are like, "Did you not ever remember from 20 years ago there was a tip jar on the table at the merch table?" This isn't the independent artist selling things. This isn't like the roadie that came along with the band who's sitting there selling the T-shirts out of a couple of crates in the back.
Yeah.
This is a uniformed corporation that has hired these folks in order to sell the merchandise on behalf of all of the acts that were playing that night. It wasn't just one artist doing that.
Right.
My thing is they're paying a wage. They're certainly paying, I don't know, and I'm looking it up, and it's anywhere between $17 and $20 an hour.
Better than minimum wage.
Better than minimum wage. And people are like, "Oh, I guess you don't appreciate people's ability, doing a hard job. They do more than just grab merchandise. They stock this and they do this." And what I get where you're coming from, but the parking attendant. This was my argument.
Yeah,
there must be like 50 or 100 people running the parking out at this place too, at the Xfinity Center. Those people are making the same amount of money that the person at the merch table is. There's not a guy there holding out a pad going, "By the way, do you want to leave a tip for all these parking people out there?"
You're the guy with the flag that told me where to park.
That's what I'm getting at. And
Listen, I'm kind of with you on this because I think there are certain things that just don't seem like a typical tip-worthy type of thing. Like, for example, if you were at Target, for example, just to throw an example out there for you, I'm not going to tip the guy who's checking me out at the register. There's no tip involved, even though they're working constantly and very hard.
I think this is the problem with the social media is people don't really pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people don't deserve to be rewarded for exceptional behavior. I'm saying that where does it end? At what point do you say, "Oh, well, this guy needs a tip as well"? And I told you yesterday, Duncan was doing it for years until I don't know if they finally something happened among the Duncans.
Right.
That they said, "We're not going to take any more tips now. We can't do this." Maybe it was causing some rifts or money issues with the thing. But here's the other thing. This is now a corporation that's running this thing. So you're not leaving $1 in a tip jar for a guy who can easily split that money up at the end.
Right.
This money goes into a giant pool and
gets
probably gets
distributed to everybody.
distributed and taxed. And I'm sure that Live Nation has taken a nice chunk off the top of that, too.
They would never do something like
You
that.
don't think
Live
so?
Nation, are you
Yeah.
kidding? They're on the up and up.
I just, to blatantly say like, I'm some cheap bastard. I don't agree with that statement. I don't feel that something that you're getting paid for, you signed up for that job to do that. You didn't. It's not like you're taking a waiter job where you're making $2.63 an hour and you need tips.
You live on the tips.
And you need tips in order to make that wage gap between the minimum wage thing. So I don't know. I'm just.
No, it's a good point. There are some things that are tip worthy and some things that just simply aren't. The guy giving you a $17 keychain at a merch table probably isn't going to get a tip from me either.
No, but I mean, and then you're talking to, these people are like, I tip at smaller venues. I get that. There's a difference between a guy who's the roadie with the band that's doing all the work and selling all the merch at the end, as opposed to the guy who's part of a team of people who are all making the same amount of money. I don't know.
It's 6:57 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, your grilling destination. Weber, Big Green Egg, Uni Pizza Ovens, and Traeger wood-fired grills.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, as you know, sports gambling is great fun. Nothing is more exciting than placing your hard-earned money and life savings in your favorite team or athlete and walking the tightrope towards almost certain financial ruin and insolvency. If it wasn't so deeply attached to the scraps that remain in my bi-weekly paycheck, I'd be spending money like a damn fool in those things. However, I would like to think that based upon my rational and discerning tenor of my personality, I would refrain from acting like an entitled jackass simply because I got a few bucks on the line. This week, sports gambling giant FanDuel claimed that they have permanently banned one of its regular customers for heckling Olympic gold medalist Gabby Thomas at a Grand Slam track event in Philadelphia last weekend. According to the reports, the bettor, who goes by the online name of Mr. 100K a day, the track and field bully, was flagged after posting on his social media a picture of Gabby Thomas with a caption that read, quote, "I made Gabby lose by heckling her, and it made my parlay win." Gabby Thomas responded on her own social media saying that the guy, quote, "follow me around the track as I took pictures and signed autographs for fans, mostly children, shouting out personal insults." FanDuel has allegedly informed Mr. 100K a day that he is no longer welcome on their website and that they, quote, "condemn in the strongest terms abusive behavior directed towards athletes." Folks, here's my question. First, aren't there like 30 or 40 other gambling sites that the bully of track and field can use instead? And secondly, what sort of dope is dropping $1,000 parlays on track and field events? Football, baseball, basketball games? Sure, but track and field? What are you, spending your kids' college fund on an Olympic-style shot putting and hammer throw? Even if Lady Luck occasionally stands by your side, do you really want to be the guy that lost his house because he picked the wrong guy to win the pole vaulting competition? I certainly wouldn't, nor would I be the guy bragging about it online like it was something to be proud of. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. You still messing with gas? You need to get an Ego and chuck that smelly gas can away. The Ego mower, string trimmer, and blower are not only on sale at Rocky's, there's a free spare battery deal going on right now, too. Get off the gas. Go Ego at Rocky's Ace Hardware. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 7-11 of the Eagles with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It is going to be hot today with a high of 94. Tomorrow, thunderstorms with a high of 80. It is 62 right now in downtown Springfield. I got some stuff.
You got something? Yeah. I think I may have something.
What do you, all right, well, let's see. Let's do you want to do a coin toss?
Let's do a coin toss.
Coin toss.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about there's an Ask Reddit thing. People on social media talking about poor people habits they'll claim they'll never stop doing.
Yeah,
cheapskate stuff. What do you got?
Well, there was a story yesterday on Mass Live about the Big E. After record-breaking attendance, the Big E seeks to disperse crowds in 2025.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what you feel. I don't know if you got a coin on you, if you want to flip.
Well, do you want to save that one for the news portion?
Well, we can do anything, Steve. This is our show. We get to make the call.
Well, I know, but I'm just trying to be courteous, and I'm not trying to like steal the thunder from you by taking away from a crowd control story versus a cheapskate story.
Well, I mean, let me frame it this way. You've had a hell of a 24 hours, my friend.
Yeah.
I mean, between that whole story about the guinea pig and the sadness involved, and just the tragedy of it all. I'll tell you what. I will concede my big crowd story for the news so that you may step forward and shine.
I don't want to shine.
No. Dazzle me,
I'm
Steve.
not,
I want to see jazz hands. I want to see rainbows. I want to see the whole damn thing.
Look at you. You're like turtle wax, buffing my pieces.
That's what I'm here for, Steve. On a day
polishing my knobs.
Well, I'm not polishing your knob.
Yes,
here.
you are.
No, I'm not. Listen, I have limits.
How do you
I'm
get
just
a spit
saying,
shine?
It's like you could see your face in it. It's so shiny. I'm just saying, on a day like you had,
all right.
The least I can do is give up a little bit of me time for you.
Well, I try not to bring sadness to the radio so often.
No, it's been a while since we had some of that.
It's been a fat minute since we had a good grief story. But all right, we'll just do this, and I want to do that one too. But we'll do that in the news.
Okay,
all
fine.
right. Does that work?
Yes.
All right. Deal.
All right, you're on.
I didn't have a coin to flip anyway. Nobody uses coins anymore.
I actually have a coin.
You have a coin?
Yeah, actually,
What did you use it for?
Where did I get? Oh yeah, I went to. I bought steaks yesterday and paid cash.
Ooh.
And I got a couple of coins in change.
Wow, you bought steaks.
Steaks. Just in a mood for
good
steaks.
Ones or
oh no, they were good steaks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Where'd you buy them from?
I bought them from the Village Mart in Hamden.
I was gonna say you probably bought them from the Village Mart.
That's
those smaller little butchers are the ones that are they know what's going. They know what's up.
I got some New York strips that were reasonably priced.
Yeah.
The ribeyes were a little bit much this week, but the strips were perfect. And it came out delicious.
Well, let's talk about us poors then, who can't afford the steak.
Okay, I'll step aside.
And people who spend $700 on guinea pig stuff. People on social media are talking about poor people habits they claim they'll never stop doing, no matter how rich they get.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Number one, using every single last drop of all products, like squeezing the life out of toothpaste tubes. And if it's lotion, cutting open the container to get the very last bit.
Oh, I won't cut open a lotion.
I'll cut open the toothpaste thing.
I squeeze as much as humanly possible.
And if you take a straight razor and you cut the side of the tube open, you can scrape the rest of the toothpaste down.
Yeah, that I don't do.
Why not?
Because I got another tube just waiting to be opened.
I know, but you're wasting. Think about all the tubes of toothpaste you've used in your lifetime. You could have gotten at least 1 or 2 brushes per tube.
Well, Steve, I'm at a station in my life now where I can afford to open up another tube.
Always checking the clearance section at clothing stores. I always do that.
I look, but I rarely find anything that'll fit.
You guys got to look. You got to take the time and you got to look.
Yeah, well, I guess.
And keeping leftover screws, nuts, and bolts from furniture kits and broken appliances. They all go in the garage so you can use them in 15 years.
I do sometimes collect that stuff.
I've used that before. I mean, I know that like a lot of the products now, like if you buy like a pre-made furniture product, like a desk or something like that,
comes with extras.
It comes with extras, and those extras, since they're similar with other products, the next time you get a product and something breaks on it, you can actually use that.
I've used IKEA Allen wrenches all the time.
Who's Allen?
I don't know, but he had this wrench.
Oh. Is that the guy on the road crew?
No.
That learned that the piggy parker that
No.
No, never wasting food if you can help it.
My intention is not to waste food, but sometimes I make more than we we need.
That-
I'm all for the leftovers.
It's the eye's bigger than the stomach.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I need to make this amount, and then you're really not going to eat it all anyway.
Yeah, then eventually it turns like green and fuzzy in the fridge.
Using grocery bags as trash bags. Yeah, if you can find a grocery bag, most people you got to pay for them now. It's easier to bring your own, your reusable ones.
Even the paper ones. I don't save those anymore.
I save those.
No, I don't. I don't cover my textbooks anymore with those things. They're useless to me.
Checking restaurant prices before looking at the menu. Doesn't everybody do that?
I may make a decision based upon a price.
Yeah.
But I don't go in looking at the price is not usually the first thing I'm looking for.
Well, I'll look online and see, hey, well, what's the range of this? Depending on what you're in, and if the people I'm going with are going to like it.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I don't know.
Collecting all of the complimentary soaps and products at hotels. You know who used to do this?
Gilbert Godfrey.
Gilbert Godfrey used to do that.
He
had suitcases filled with soaps and
shampoos
and from all of the places that he would travel across the country to.
I never take that stuff home with me.
What? Why not?
I just don't.
A lot of them now, they don't even have like certain hotels. They have the caddies now. They're just refillable caddies, so you can't take it home.
Right.
Thrifting, hitting up community yard sales, and bargain hunting. I love going to thrift shops. I love finding the weirdest shiznit around at these places because people get rid of interesting things. I have that deer leg table at home.
Oh, yeah.
It's a stool. It's a taxidermy piece. I also have a Dr. Spock painting.
Really?
And I also have this one that it's like a sacrificial lamb of God on an altar that's bleeding down the front of it. I don't know, but it was very cheap.
Is this going to be the kind of thing that many years from now, after you've passed on, that your kids are going to have to rifle through all this needless foolishness that you got in your house?
You know what? I'm passing on the karma from all the other people that I've had to throw junk out of over the years.
Really?
You know how much crap I had to throw out of my mother's house?
Which one of your two kids is going to want that Kenny Rogers Roasters sign?
I'm telling you, that thing will be that'll be a collector's item. That is there's a lot of people that want that.
I know there is. I know
it's
there
unique. It's unique. How many people have a Kenny Rogers Roaster sign hanging on their garage?
To the best of my knowledge, nobody.
Yeah, I think it's. And I've never had a negative compliment or a negative statement made. Oh my God, I would never do that. I was expecting that.
There's probably a couple people in town saying, "Hey, you see the guy over there with the Kenny Rogers Roaster
believe
sign?"
me, I know what kind of douche I am. I completely understand that.
Well, I'm glad to
but
hear that.
I don't really care. To me, it's like I think it's funny.
Oh, you're the talk of the town.
Oh, I'm sure I am. Well, there's people all the time. Oh man, that Kenny Rogers Roaster sign you got out there.
You know, the one that lights up
the whole yard.
Burns out my rods and cones.
I bet the International Space Station can see that.
Yeah, right.
And go, wow, what is that big bright light up there? It's burning out my rods and cones.
We can see the Great Wall of China from space and also Steve's Kenny Rogers Roaster
the
sign.
Kenny Rogers Roaster sign on the side of his garage. But this is also why I'm single. There's not a woman in her right mind that would go, oh man, you sold me with the Kenny Rogers Roaster sign on the side of the garage.
Actually, I bet there is, but the moment you get into the relationship is the moment where the hints start. We should really maybe not hang that sign. I've got some.
Yeah.
I got some other things. I'll get some curtains I want to put up there.
It's one of those things you're okay with because the relationship is new.
Right, but once the relationship has established and matured, then all of a sudden that thing is way in the way.
Once you kind of find out what kind of person I am, you're like, you know what? That Kenny Rogers sign needs to go. It's either me or the Kenny Rogers sign.
Both he and the sign are just a little much.
Turning off lights when leaving a room. I have become my dad doing that. Who's watching the TV? God?
I usually try to turn off the lights.
I have not resorted to the sticker that we used to have on the light switch that said, when not in use, turn off the juice.
Yeah, that's a
Once
good
he
one.
got those for free, there was a power company. When I was in Syracuse, there was a power company up there that was giving out those things that you could place over this. They were all over the house. He made a bargain with the guy. Can I get more than 5 of these? Walking everywhere or taking public transit.
No.
I'm not going to do that.
No.
We don't live in an area where public transit makes sense.
Well, I mean, you could take a PVTA bus. That makes sense. Many people do. But for the most part, we're all, a lot of people are, spread out.
Hand washing Ziploc bags. No, I'm not doing
I don't do
that. Reusing tissue paper when wrapping gifts. I have done that.
No, I don't.
Cleaning my own place. I don't like people touching my stuff. I don't want anybody touching my stuff.
No, I'll let
somebody else
Hazel clean the house.
Somebody else do it for you. Why
Sure.
not? Licking yogurt tops to maximize value.
I will usually drag the spoon across the top rather than lick it.
Ooh, I like that. Very sophisticated you are.
Yeah, that's my whole motto, Steve.
And paying my fair share of taxes. What?
What are you? Who wrote this list?
I don't know.
Anyone
Well,
who's paying their taxes doesn't want to pay
it was
taxes.
a contribution, I guess.
I guess.
I don't know.
All right.
We should have went with the crowd control story. That would have been a whole lot better than this.
Steve, we'll get to it. You know
All
what?
right.
This was your time.
Yeah.
I conceded it to you. You're welcome.
All right.
It's 7:23 on Rock 102. It's 7:27 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Liam Neeson has been found, and he will give you the forecast.
Thank goodness. Hey, and the forecast is going to be kind of important because Pat Kelly and the Road Crew are going to be at Free Music Friday tomorrow from 7 to 9 at the Plaza at MGM Springfield. Enjoy free live outdoor music at MGM's Plaza featuring your favorite local bands. This week it happens to be The Great Escape, the tribute to Journey, which they're fantastic. They're going to take the stage at 7:30. If that changes, I'm sure Rock 102 and MGM will let you know. They have punted on these kinds of things before and successfully. Quench your thirst with refreshing beverages at the Plaza Bar or get craft beer from White Lion Brewing. Plus, Guac This Way will have their truck out there and other various local food trucks as well. Free Music Friday tomorrow with Pat and the Road Crew from Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
What else is going on? I don't know. We got more stuff in news coming up, and what's your? I don't even have a what's yours. What's your favorite crowd control story?
Yeah, there
coming
you
up
go.
next.
It's 7:28 at Rock 102. 7:31 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news, and it is brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-on bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. His local radio icon, Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Max. The Pittsfield Fire Department responded to a West Housatonic Street soldier on for a reported structure fire Wednesday.
Steve, I believe it's pronounced Pittsfield.
Have you ever been there?
I have.
I don't think you have. I believe it's pronounced Pittsfield.
Well, it's two T's. Pittsfield.
When crews arrived, they found a large open-air shed fully involved in flames. The shed fire was under control within 10 minutes and determined to fully extinguish shortly after. The main soldier-on building, which stands 20 feet from the shed, sustained minimal damage to its windows and roof trim. The Pittsfield Fire Investigation Unit determined, PIU.
Says you.
Determined the cause as a lithium-ion battery-powered e-bike fire. Imagine that. This is the new space heater thing. These ion batteries just exploding and overheating and causing fires. There were no reported injuries from this fire and the scene. The fire is under investigation. But e-bikes, they're big popular things right now.
Oh, everybody wants one of those.
Mm-hmm. Springfield official held a press conference on Wednesday sending a warning to local convenience stores. The city's Health and Human Services Commissioner, Helen Colton Harris, says they have a list of more than a dozen establishments across the city selling synthetic cannabis, also known as gas station weed, which she describes as an extremely dangerous product. Synthetic cannabinoids mimic Delta-9 and can cause psychoactive effects. Delta-8 and Delta-9 are found naturally in cannabis, but in very small amounts, but can chemically be converted from CBD to synthetic cannabis and sold in retail stores, are sold in bodegas, and are many other venues. Colton Harris says she's not naming any names at this time. Easy Mart.
But you know who you are.
But she hopes this serves as a warning to business owners across the city. Meanwhile, Mayor Dom Dom, for his part, says you're going to be fined $300 each instance. You got 10 packages? That's 3 G's right there. You ain't got that kind of bodega money.
I don't know what bodega owners rake in, but I got to believe that, they wouldn't sell it if these things weren't, hopping off the shelves.
You know, I once smoked the joint just to interrogate it. It confessed to 3 unsolved felonies and a zoning violation. You don't just shut down an illegal dispensary. You make eye contact with it until it becomes a CVS.
Sure. Yes.
This isn't a cease and desist letter. It's a roundhouse kick and an aerial bud. That's what he does.
Yeah, listen, you don't want to mess with the mayor, especially when it comes to this kind of thing.
Gas station weed is so sketchy, even Snoop Dogg himself called me up and told me to inspect it.
Listen, I said this last hour. There are certain things in a gas station that I will buy. Gasoline, for example. Maybe a scratch ticket. But congestibles, consumables of any kind, like a hot dog or a tuna salad sandwich.
Yeah.
Or cannabinoids in a pouch. I'm probably going to think I'm going to go somewhere else for those kind of things.
You don't want to get found being positive for gas station weed.
No, I don't. I'm not just physically, but also socially. I mean, if I got a party going on at the house, I'm going to say, well, here the chips, the dips, and the gas station weed I bought at the Quickie Mart.
You don't want to test positive for Mayor Dom Dom.
No, you don't.
That's instant death. You and your bodega. Oh, far with the bodegas and the THC
Listen,
Delta 9s.
There's lots of bodegas in the area that are operating a sound, clean business.
Name 4.
I can't off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are many that do.
Eversource brought back their annual Turtle Palooza training to help protect wildlife living under its power lines by educating crews on how to spot and safely move them out of harm's way.
See that? It's a turtle. Walk away from it.
Next. We see it as our responsibility to care for the land that we manage, but also protect the species that called this right-of-way home, said Matthew Waldrop, manager of licensing and permitting with Eversource. It said that slow and steady wins the race, and that was the message in Agawam for Eversource's annual Turtle Palooza training. In partnership with the Mass Division of Fish and Wildlife, the training took place in one of the electric company's rights-of-way, which is a popular nesting spot for dozens of wildlife species, including endangered species like the eastern box turtle. So this is a training. This training is day-long training. There's a classroom portion that starts off at the end of the day, and then crews make their way in the field and actually learn certain methods for sweeping for the turtles, and what's the proper way to search for them and how to relocate them, and also who to call if they happen to find some to make sure they're protected, Waldrop explained. As part of Turtle Palooza, Eversource crew members will practice turtle sweeps, and they've even teamed up with a specially trained turtle-sniffing dog named Moby to help them show how it's done.
Okay.
It's kind of like being on the job. The dog is doing all the work while 8 other guys stand around and watch the dog find the turtle. And then the turtle gets hired to be the guy in that hole.
It's good work if you can get it.
Yeah. Eversource manages these areas year-round to keep electric service up and running for thousands of customers across the region, but that same open space also attracts hundreds of eastern box turtles looking for a safe, sunny resting spot. Lauren Glorioso, who is an endangered species review biologist with the Mass DEF, or whatever that is, told Western Mass News that it's important to keep these little guys safe. They're native species.
You know, how much is this costing to educate everybody at Eversource? Because, these kinds of things don't come cheap.
It'll be passed on in your electric bill.
And they'll tell you what your neighbors are spending to identify the turtles in your neighborhood.
I once saw this documentary about these turtles who went through some radioactive material and then in the sewer.
Yes.
And then grew into life-size turtles who were then trained by a rat that was a sensei that taught them karate.
Karate.
Karate is here, here, and here.
Do these turtles eat like an enormous amount of pizza?
Yes, you've seen this before.
Steve, I think what you were describing is the essential plot line to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. Oh, so you've seen it before.
Of course I've
All
seen
right,
it. It's
okay.
a very popular documentary.
I can't, but it's a true story. You know that, right?
Yes, I'm aware of that, yes.
There's a large rat underneath the city who knows karate and is teaching it to radioactive turtles.
It happens all the time. Happens more often than you may think.
Ford is recalling nearly 500,000 older Explorer models because part of the door trim can detach while driving and cause a dangerous road hazard.
Oh, boy.
U.S. auto regulators said on Wednesday. A notice posted by the NHTSA said the recall covers 492,145 Ford Explorers model years 2016 to 2017. The vehicles were produced between June 11th of 2015 and April 19th of 2017. Ford Motor Company first recognized the problem as far back as 2019, but it didn't consider it an unreasonable risk to safety. You mean the door falling off isn't an unreasonable risk to safety?
As long as you're using your seatbelt,
Yeah.
What's the likelihood you're going to fall out? You know, a lot of Jeeps didn't have doors.
There was some post I read yesterday about acronyms for vehicles.
Yes.
Jeep stands for just empty every pocket. Ford is, the problem is you bought a Ford, found on road dead, fixed or repaired daily. And then the newest one was Tesla. That Elon loves Adderall. I kind of like that one.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny. Ford concluded that lack of proper adhesion was causing the trim to loosen, adding that it is unaware of any accidents or injuries related to the defect. I don't think they're going to say that anyway. I had that problem with the rear windshield blew out on me because of a faulty defroster. Like it shattered.
Oh, that's right.
And thousands of pieces.
Yeah.
And it turns out that it was a common problem eventually. But as a corporation, they don't want, and this isn't just Ford. This is any corporation. Remember Toyota with the gas pedals and all that stuff? They don't want to come out and just say, by the way, we know this is causing a problem. No. This is only a couple of cars. And then you find out years later.
Yeah, it was all of them.
492,000 of them.
Well, I've had a couple of situations like that in cars I've had where I got the notice in the mail and they said, "Oh yeah, we'll take care of it and we should have the parts in 9 to 10 months."
Oh well, there you go.
So if you could
Nice and
just
quick.
hold on and not worry about the possibility that your transmission may fall out of your car, everything will be fine and we'll take care of it at no cost to you.
The Big E is seeking to avoid crowding issues which stemmed from record-breaking attendance last year by offering half-price tickets for this year's fair. Isn't that increasing the amount of people?
Well, the difference is that this would be date-specific to weekdays. They figure if they can get people to jam up the place on like a Wednesday or Thursday, then maybe that will prevent people from wanting to go on a Friday or Saturday.
The fair is hosting a flash sale from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Wednesday, which was yesterday, or is it next Wednesday?
I think it's next Wednesday.
Where weekday tickets, which normally cost $21.50, will be priced at $10.75. That's not half. $10.25 would be half of $21.50. Right?
Well, Steve, I mean.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait a minute. I'm wrong. I'm bad at math. $21.50. Yes, that would be $10.75.
I don't really understand how this solves much of anything. I mean, people go to the Big E on the weekends because they don't have to work the next day. What a great way to go and get stewed at the Big E with 179,000 of your closest friends.
The midweek tickets aim to promote the fair's fantastic entertainment offerings and highlight the best days to come to the fair. We hope this becomes part of how people plan their fair visit. There'll still be people showing up.
They're still going to have enormous crowds and be at risk of big problems.
You can purchase up to 8 tickets. And it'll be the tickets are only valid one weekday, Monday through Thursday. The sale was announced after the Big E broke an all-time total attendance record welcoming 1.6 million people in 2024. As one of the largest fairs in the U.S. and Canada, the 175-acre West Springfield event also broke its all-time single daily attendance record at 178,608 attendees on September 21st. Do you remember?
I do.
21st night of September?
I do.
And reported 7 attendance records broken over the course of this year's 17-day fair, with 5 of them in a row. The Big E now nears or far surpasses daily attendance numbers of the 375-acre Great New York State Fair and the 277-acre Texas State Fair. Yes, but there's more room at those places.
There's only more room, but do those other fairs not have limits? Attendance limits?
Here's the difference between that place, between the Big E Fairgrounds and at least the New York State Fairgrounds. The New York State Fairgrounds is a dedicated location to those. So there's plenty of room there in order to fill parking spaces, fill areas where you're not impeding a city's regular neighborhood. There's not people like offering their front lawns for parking. There's no need for that because there's plenty of parking. And even they have bus transportation that you can park at like a local mall and you can take the shuttle bus to there, which is always, and it's only like $2.
Right.
So they've seemed to have alleviated most of the traffic problems in the Syracuse area because of where the location is of that. Yeah, you're going to hit traffic if you go in that area, but as far as like impeding traffic throughout, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You get all this traffic backed up all the way up onto 91 and even sometimes the Mass Pike because of Route 5 and everything.
See, I don't understand how this plan solves the problem. You know, to me, like I think you were right. If anything, it encourages more people to go. Maybe more people to go on the weekday, but that doesn't mean that you still couldn't get 150,000 people on there on a Tuesday.
You should upcharge on the weekends. The tickets are $10 more on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
I mean, think about that, Big E. It might be a chance for you to make more money. I know you're struggling.
Well, think about it. You'd probably get a bunch of people who would be like, I'm not paying that. And then you'd alleviate that amount of people.
Right.
But then you'd also say, like, I'm going to pay the extra $10 if there's not 178,000 people there on a Saturday.
I think most Big E fans would pay the extra.
Yeah. Yeah, there's enough people out there that you'd still make the same amount of money if you increase the price on the weekend.
Yeah. Now, for me, you'd have to pay me extra to go to the Big E with 178,000 other people.
I think they do pay us extra to be there, don't they?
I don't think they do.
Well, we got a free ticket last year from our work.
Yes.
For an employee party.
Yeah, that was really putting it. That was great.
Team building.
Okay, now that we're all here, you may now disperse.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I think actually increasing the price on the weekends would be the better idea.
Or just saying we can't allow more than 130,000 people in here at any one given time. If that means there's lines of people to get in, then maybe that's just what you have to do.
That's if Gene Cassidy is listening in his vehicle right now, I just made it move by saying price increase. He's like, ooh.
That's the only thing he would have heard. What?
Yeah.
More revenue?
He's going to text me later going, tell me more about higher prices. Tell me more how we can squeeze people out of more money.
And tell me slow.
Yeah, real slow. What's your plan? I should be on the board of this place. Your Pioneer Valley forecast today is going to be a mix of sun and clouds. And hot, high of 94. Tomorrow, thunderstorms with a high of 80. It is 62 right now in downtown Springfield. I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
And your serious
light sounds of Led Zeppelin, Rock 102.
Yeah. Gonna be a mix of sun and clouds today with a high of 94. It is 68 giggity. Oh, no, wait. 69. It's not. It's one away from 69.
I got 67 here, so I don't know.
Oh, man. What is this?
I got it plugged into Springfield, not East Longmeadow, Springfield.
All right. All right.
That's what I got it plugged into.
Well, let me see. How is it exactly? Do you do a zip code or do you just do Springfield, Mass?
I do Springfield, Mass. So so it's 67.
Yeah, how is it 1 degree cooler in Springfield than it is here in East Longmeadow?
Closer to the equator.
Come on.
Tell me it's not.
By like what? 3 miles?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's closer to the equator. You can
Whatever.
feel the difference.
I don't know. Well, Liam Neeson is back on the scene. He has been found. The ransom has been paid, and he will be joining us for the hourly weather forecast.
Hey, great show coming to the Westfield River Brewing Company on June 7th. What is that? Saturday?
Yeah.
Saturday at 6 o'clock. It's Almost Queen. Guess what kind of music they do?
Tom Petty?
No.
Are you sure?
All Queen music.
I thought it was Jim Croce.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a hell of a tribute show. That would be.
All right.
But it's Almost Queen. It's like Queen, but almost. So anyway, we happen to have a pair of tickets right now. The 10th caller at 293-1021. Tickets to see Almost Queen on Rock 102.
And if you're number 9, you'll almost win those tickets.
That's why you got to be number 10.
That's right.
And you will
There
see
you go.
Almost Queen. Not
There you
Queen. Queen almost.
Almost.
Anyway, it's 7:57 on Rock 102.
And now, Bax's View from the Couch, brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware, your grilling destination. Weber, Big Green Egg, Uni Pizza Ovens, and Traeger wood-fired grills.
Hey, good morning, sports fans. How the heck are you? Folks, you know me. I'm a broken down old man who's become deeply set in my ways and has become resistant to progress. I'm at an age where where I like things the way they used to be, free from all the newfangled thingamabobs and doodads that define the future. Believe you me, I'm just a few short years away from being unable to operate even the simplest machines, appliances, and electronic devices. And when it comes to making changes to the things I know and the places I go, well, then you're only causing problems. This week, the Boston Red Sox announced plans to build a $1.6 billion 7-story office building on Lansdowne Street in Boston, just behind the Green Monster at Fenway Park. The idea is to construct a building that will not only house the team's corporate headquarters, it'll also include retail space, terrace seating, and any number of things that the average slob like you and me will never have access to. Here's the bad part. The new building will mean the demolition of the 2-story parking garage by Gate C. It'll also mean the demolition of the House of Blues. And now here's the really bad part. The construction of this building will also come at a physical cost in which the iconic Citgo sign over the Green Monster could be obscured from view at certain angles. Folks, this is an outrage. How dare they take this stunning 113-year-old historical structure and fiddle it around with his breathtaking views? To me, the Citgo sign not only serves as a friendly piece of heartwarming nostalgia, but I also happen to be a big fan of international refineries of transportation fuels, lubricants, petrochemicals, and other industrial products with loose ties to the Venezuelan government. These are the same ties and industrial products that my father enjoyed as a kid, the same sort of petrochemicals that my late grandfather played with as a boy. And now you want to change it all up because their current office space isn't good enough? Well, neither is the product in the field, and frankly, I'd rather have you working on that rebuilding project before you worry about what's across the street. But hey, enough of my yapping. Sports brought to you by Rocky's Ace Hardware. So your dad's old school too, huh? Got sticky fingers on vinyl? Likes to look at big signs at Fenway? How about a Weber Kettle Grill? The Weber Kettle Grill is the original charcoal grill, same as it's been since 1952 when it was introduced to the world, and it's on sale now for Father's Day at your neighborhood Rocky's Ace Hardware for $150. That's a hell of a deal at Rocky's. I'm Bax. That's my view from the couch. Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock. It's 8:11 and Billy Idol with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
It's going to be a hot one today with a high of 94, and tomorrow 81 with some thunderstorms. It is 68 right now in downtown Springfield.
An outstanding comedy show is coming to the Roar Comedy Club at MGM Springfield on Saturday. Katie Arroyo, who's been here before.
Yes,
good to see you.
Thanks for having
Actually,
me.
I hear your opening act is not so hot, but
Well, we're giving him a chance.
one day I'll make it. But yeah, Katie Arroyo, you were part of our Mayflower Marathon
Yes.
show a couple of years ago, and you got a lot of people, good feedback from that. People want to come to this week's weekend show.
You guys,
Yeah.
so when you get booked on a show, you're just like, yeah, I'll show up, whatever it is, blah, blah, blah. And I walked in and it was like, I had put it on my calendar of like random show. And I walked in and it was like the best show. It was the best. You guys like packed out that room. The crowd was so nice and so fun and amazing that I remember it was like the best show of the whole month that I had. And it was just like, this like little fundraiser show.
I think the reason for that is our audience are primarily
Maniacs.
simpletons and will laugh at anything.
I'm into it.
Yeah, it doesn't say much about your material.
That's
Katie.
my brand.
I don't know.
My brand is simpleton.
Well, these are the same people that have allowed me to work here for 30 years. I mean, what does that tell you?
I was going to point out, I'm like, yeah, I guess you had a great show then, but from what I've been reading online, you are awful. awful comedian. I want to talk about this. Yeah, I want to talk about this because I thought you handled it pretty well the other day. It's weird how people will go out of their way to say, and behind a keyboard, no less. They would never say these things to you in person.
No.
And I noticed that, I don't know what he said. He said something, this guy.
I know what he said.
What did he say? All right.
So Matt MGM were on Saturday, so the club was posting promo clips. And they did pick a clip where I was like, this man would not like this clip probably.
Right.
But this older gentleman saw the clip on Facebook and just wrote, she is awful.
Yeah. And then, but you responded with.
I wrote like, yeah, you're right. You should bring like 6 of your friends to the show to show them how awful I am.
But I always want, and there's a guy, I was telling you about a guy who wrote on my Instagram, because I sometimes I run ads for the shows or whatever, and they promoted ads. So it reaches people who don't maybe necessarily don't follow me, whatever. But this guy twice now has written the same exact comment.
See.
And it says, he's not even funny on the radio. Why would I pay money to go see the guy?
My favorite part of that is that means he's obviously listening to you on the radio.
Yeah.
He listens enough to know he doesn't like you.
Yeah, right.
He's your biggest fan.
Yeah.
I hate that guy. I can't wait to listen tomorrow to hear more.
Exactly.
But you and I were talking about this out in the hallway, and I said my favorite part is going to look at their profiles and seeing who these people are. Now, this particular guy doesn't have a profile picture. I don't know what he looks like.
Because sometimes this is a fun behind the scenes fact. Sometimes, guys, you are so hot, okay? You're so hot and attractive that if you posted your real picture on social media, it would explode, right? So you have to post a picture of like Spider-Man or like the Dogecoin dog and make that be your picture, your profile picture, because you're so hot in real life that people saw that.
Well, this guy's so hot he doesn't even have a profile. He doesn't have any picture. It's just that little standard silhouette they give you when you sign up.
Shadow man.
You know, one of the things that we get all the time, and it doesn't matter what we post. If we post a picture of ourselves, whether it's a promo thing or whatever, it doesn't even matter. There's always going to be someone who will say, well, that's a face for radio. And then, which I think is like, like an old man, old timey type of insult. But then when you go and you look at their promo, at their, pictures on their Facebook, I mean, they're living in their grandmother's basement. They're not wearing a clean shirt. The guy's missing like 50. The guy's teeth are primarily ornamental. I mean, it's like just gross.
They're just for show.
I think it's people who have all of these things they feel about themselves that they need to project it onto other people, and they feel because we're so funny all the time that we can take it.
Well, I heard you're actually not that funny on the radio.
No, we're not. Absolutely not.
So you've been following that guy, haven't you?
So I think
me.
I think a great response to that would be, well, you got a face for a tractor pull.
But you say you follow that guy. So my favorite part is to go to their profile and see, and this guy's got he's following 200 and something people, and all of them are thirst trap, fake profile, Instagram.
He's following 3 people and 297 Russian bots.
Right. And And he's probably one of these guys that's shelling out money. He won't pay $25 to come see me.
Yeah.
But he's probably wiring or Venmoing money to a person he's never met before.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He can't buy a ticket to your show because he has to buy lunch for Melania.
Right.
Well, she's got kids.
Yeah, I need to support her.
Well, between that and his penis enhancement creams, I mean, the guy's bleeding money.
I've told this story before. I know a guy who got duped by one of these.
No, really?
Don't feel bad for him. He shouldn't have been doing it to begin with. But the best part was her name was Ruth Sprinkles, and it's like. How do you not know that you're being duped by? And she's like, oh, she's from Oklahoma. She's a single mom. She's he Venmoed her over $8,000 over the course of like a year and a half.
Okay.
Because she kept asking for money, and it's not even it's probably not even a she.
Oh, it's just it's just a little boy. Like it's her son. This actually does not surprise me because I had a podcast like 5 years ago, and part of the podcast was I was actually single, so I was on dating apps, and my co-host thought it'd be really funny if anytime someone matched with me, I would pretend that I thought I was like a character, and I would respond to the messages saying, I'm Tom Hardy, Katie's vagina. And like no man was freaked out. They were just like, that's funny. All right, Tom, how's it going? And I was like, guys are so easygoing.
Yeah, it's just a sup. What's up?
They were just like, oh, okay, cool. You know what? They just like fully went on. No one was freaked out by it at all. And I fully was just like, hey, Katie's really busy right now, but this is Tom Hardy, Katie's vagina. Like, and they were just like, oh, okay, cool. Does Tom Hardy want to go to dinner? Like, they were so on board. So Ruth Sprinkles, like, that's a normal person.
You know why most men don't react to that? Because they get worse.
I guess. You're right.
There's probably worse out there.
Yeah, they're like just actual Tom Hardy.
I should try that with my penis.
You should try it.
I should start giving a nickname to it.
Ruth Sprinkles.
Yeah, Ruth Sprinkles. This is Steve's penis, Ruth Sprinkles.
I think that thing's been swiped enough.
I think so too.
He's just a single mom who works 2 jobs.
That's right. I need the money. Here's my Venmo. But you've been traveling around a lot.
Very busy.
Yeah.
I been touring with Natasha Leggero, so she takes me to. We were just laughing yesterday because she takes me to the finest places. I've been to Wisconsin. We're going to Indianapolis, and she's like, I only take you to places where cheese is the biggest like export.
Well, I mean, who doesn't love cheese?
Oh, I told her, I go, I'm into it. Like,
Yeah,
if we go to Miami, I need like 3 months notice so I can start CrossFit again.
Now compared the cheese compared to other parts of the country.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. The Wisconsin cheese is incredible.
Better than Vermont, huh?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that. That's close to the border, but
I lived there for years.
Oh, did you?
For 11 years. I'll back you up on that.
Right?
It's outstanding.
I'm a huge Wisconsin fan, and I never thought I would say that, but I absolutely am I just didn't know anything about it. Huge fan. Huge fan.
I would actually welcome that.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
So trying different food products across the country.
I went to a place called the Cheese Castle. Do you know?
Mars Cheese Castle.
Mars Cheese Castle. Okay, yes.
This is the greatest place in the world. It's literally shaped like a castle.
Yes.
All right.
Like there's a royal family and everything.
Let's go.
Yeah, you walk in, there's a bar. So I ordered a Bloody Mary, and then they gave me a beer first, and I go, I ordered, and this lady next to me goes, that's your chaser. And they just give you a beer chaser no matter what you order. And it was 11 a.m.
Wow, it sounds like a cheese and alcoholics.
It was incredible. And then
did you try the free samples?
Oh, are you crazy? Yes.
Because there's enough free samples in that place that you will never... you will never pass anything again for like months. I mean, you will be so bound up.
You don't need you cannot eat another meal because you're full of cheese. And then if you just like see a cheese you like, you're just like, hey, what's up with that cheese? And they pull it out and just cut it and give you pieces of it.
Oh, I gotta go
amazing.
To this place.
The Mars Cheese Castle is like one of the greatest things ever.
Never heard you mention this before. This is
I don't want to bore everybody with it.
Boring everybody. Who doesn't like to talk about cheese?
Listen, I got Wisconsin stories that tell forever, but I don't want to be the guy from Syracuse.
When I was in Syracuse.
I don't want to Dave Coombs everybody in Milwaukee. I really don't want to do that.
But Katie Arroyo coming to Roar Comedy Club this Saturday night. I'll be guest spotting.
I was just gonna say, why don't you tell them who else is gonna do some time?
Well,
on the
I didn't
show?
want to steal the show from an awful comedian like yourself.
Tickets are still available. You can go onto the MGM website. I'm sure that's a great way to get your tickets. Katie, it's always great to have you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Oh, thanks for coming in.
We appreciate it.
Next time I come, I'll bring cheese.
You should have brought cheese today.
I know, I'm sorry. Tell them with sprinkles. I'm so sorry. I'll bring them next time.
And if Tom Hardy's vagina is available, please.
He's always hungry.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I want the cheese from that.
Cut that. Oh, shit. Is this live?
It's 8:23 on Rock 102 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Liam Neeson has been found, and he will give you the forecast.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Rock 102 presents the Classic Rock Summer now through Labor Day weekend. You listen to Rock 102 all summer long for details on how to grab your share of the summer stash of prizes. This time, we're giving away $25 gift cards to Store It and Tavern every weekday through Labor Day. And if you want to win, it's so simple. You go to rock102.com, and then you have to deal with the tough part, which is listen to Pat Kelly every weekday afternoon. Once that happens, you could be a big winner. And Classic Rock Summer is brought to you by the Leah Auto Group, only on Rock 102, Springfield's Classic Rock.
Now, here's the thing. I'm not going to be able to stick around for your set on Saturday because I have another show that night in Springfield at McCarthy's Tavern. Now, I don't want to, because, that's where the bigger rooms are.
In the tavern.
Yeah, in the tavern.
The Pine Point comedy circuit
so
really is something.
I'm not going to be able to stick around.
Rude.
Yeah,
Tom
sorry.
Hardy is not going to be happy about that.
Right. So just don't be offended when I take off after my set.
You have to run to the cavern.
Oh, you gotta head on over there.
Yeah.
It's an Irish bar run by an Indian guy.
Classic.
And the show's hosted by a black guy.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a diverse, very diverse room.
And they need one straight white guy.
Yeah.
And you were like, I know, just the man.
Well, I fit into their
Yeah.
equal opportunity employment.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's great. You're going to love it. They got to love that room.
Yeah. The wings are the best thing there.
Amazing. And you.
Yeah,
well,
that's
I don't know.
The wings are a close second.
Have the wings first and then judge. It's 8:28. News is next on Rock 102. 8:32 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102. It's time for news brought to you by Gary Rome Hyundai. Technicians get up to a $5,000 sign-on bonus right now. Learn more at GaryRomeHyundai.com/family. His local radio icon, Steve Nagle.
Thanks, Bax. Springfield police arrested a 53-year-old man who say they pulled a teenage boy into a park Friday evening and assaulted him. After obtaining a warrant for his arrest, detectives with the Springfield Police Department Special Victims Unit arrested Ahmed Tuesday around 4 p.m. Around 8 p.m. Friday, a man forcibly dragged a 17-year-old walking on Hancock Street into Johnny Appleseed Park. The boy said he was sexually assaulted, according to police. The boy was able to escape, the statement said, by running about a mile to his home as the man chased him.
Jesus.
The boy reported the assault to the police a few hours later, according to the statement, and the SVU began investigating, reviewing city cameras. Speaking with the boy and other witnesses, detectives identified Ahmed, who was homeless, as the suspect. After police obtained a warrant for Ahmed's arrest, they began scouring the city for Ahmed's possible whereabouts. They detained him on the 700 block of State Street. He was charged with kidnapping, aggravated rape during the commission of a felony, witness intimidation, stalking, and assault and battery with a dangerous weapon. Superintendent Larry Akers said this type of assault by a stranger is extremely rare in the city, yet undoubtedly alarming. He's right about that. I mean, the random attack doesn't happen as often as somebody that
right,
that would be doing something like this. But still, that's kind of scary.
That's very scary stuff.
But geez, ran a mile. Let's
And,
talk about
let's do a happy
story. How about scorching temperatures here in the Bay State today? And,
Now you're talking.
Here's all the closed beaches. With temperatures climbing into the 90s on Thursday, some beaches in Massachusetts are closed for swimming to the public. The 3 beaches are closed in the total on Wednesday, according to the State Department of Public Health. One of those is the main beach at Walden Pond State Reservation. Where is that?
Walden Pond State Reservation where is that? Concord.
Oh, well, so close to here that we decided to talk about it, which will remain closed for the entirety of the summer 2025 as a new state-of-the-art $6.1 million bathhouse is constructed. Red Cross Beach at Walden Pond will remain open with no lifeguards. The other beaches closed, both have high bacterial exceedance, according to the DPH. These include Plunkett Lake Beach in Hinsdale and Old Maids Park in Great Barrington. Again, so very close to this area.
Well, right. Okay, so maybe now's not a great time to be taking a dip in Walden Pond. You know why it's not such a great time?
Why?
Because the water temperature there is 66 freaking degrees.
Is that what it is?
I just looked at the water temperature, Walden Pond State Beach.
That's warm.
That is not warm, Steve.
66? Come on.
No.
It's a nice cool. Well, it'll cool you off from the hot temperature.
Your boys would recede into your body cavity so fast they'd be like up in your neck.
Bacteria in beach water can come from a variety of sources, including stormwater rain runoff. This is what I'm talking about. You're closing beaches because you don't want the public to get unhealthy, maybe be exposed to bacteria.
Yes.
But here we are celebrating this big Ironman competition where the first thing you got to do is jump into the poo-filled Connecticut River and swim 1.2 miles. At least it's downstream.
Yeah, I mean between the sewage and the bodies that we think are still down there, it should be fine. You get out. You'll dry. They'll give you a towel.
The condoms floating in the water too. The Bondi's Island whitefish, and the Connecticut River brownfish, all together, all floating around.
It's like a rainbow connection down there.
Oh yeah, good times. Ooh, look, a raccoon carcass. That's
good carcass.
Well, you know what? It's a great way to stay in shape.
I may be vomiting profusely for the next 3 weeks, but man, I'm so glad I finished.
The funny thing is, I did two of them. I did with those years ago. I did those Rugged Maniac competitions. They had it over at the WIC 338, the track there, and that was pretty challenging. But it wasn't this. It wasn't a triathlon. It was, obstacles that you'd have to go through and all that stuff. And
but
some of them I couldn't do, but you didn't have to complete them. It's if you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
There was a couple of things that my fat ass I couldn't get over the wall fast enough. Because you basically got to push your arms down, and I wasn't that strong back then. So there was a couple of things. But you jump in a pool of water that everybody else has been jumping into.
Right.
I would imagine there's some bacteria going on in that.
Well, maybe, but even in a situation like that, that water's not nearly as contaminated as the Connecticut River after a rainstorm.
But it's beautiful this time of year.
Oh, it's breathtaking.
Well, what's the weather supposed to be? The weather on Sunday is supposed to be, mix of sun and clouds and a high of 78. It'll be a nice, cool day.
Yeah. So that'll be great. So good luck and enjoy all of that if you're participating.
I think the only reason why that swim is first is because of all the other, because it's to stop a risk of drowning.
Right.
Because if you ran the 13 miles and then biked 50 miles,
you'd be too exhausted to
swim. I think that's probably why it is. But man, can you imagine that? The first thing you got to do is jump in a cesspool and swim 1.2 miles, and then you're smelling like that all day long.
Yeah. See, now I don't know how science works exactly when it comes to this, but doesn't some of the bacteria, due to evaporation and photosynthesis, just die off of you before you get on the bike and start to riding through Forest Park?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, I'd like to at least think that way, because I hate to think there's like 1,000 athletes running through the city of Springfield smelling like the Connecticut River, more so than any other day.
Yeah. Hey, it smells like Mingles out here. What's going on?
I'm not running for that that kind of distance.
I don't
But I've
run.
had the runs for 4 days.
I don't run, but I have done a rascal triathlon once. You have to go to a supermarket and grab the highest thing on the shelf to put it in your basket. And you also have to order a pack of cigarettes without getting ID'd.
That's the toughest part of the entire day.
The House approved a significant overhaul of the marijuana oversight in Massachusetts on Wednesday, passing a bill that would downsize and reorient the scandal-hounded Cannabis Control Commission that has kept tabs on the legal industry since it launched almost 8 years ago. The bill, H 4187, which passed 153-0 just before 4 p.m., would also regulate the tax hemp-based products, raise a cap on retail license control, and make structural changes to the medical marijuana side of the industry. Overall, this bill provides comprehensive and reasonable reform measures to our existing cannabis laws. That's according to CCC Chairman Daniel Donahue on the House floor. We're pursuing these reforms because we want our cannabis industry to succeed and thrive, and because we want to live up to the promises explicit in our commitment to social equity when recreational cannabis was first legalized. Frustration with the slow pace of regulatory changes, headline-grabbing internal conflicts at the CCC, and a plea from the Inspector General for the legislature to intervene at the rudderless agency combined last summer to get lawmakers thinking more seriously about a response.
It's probably overdue.
It's long overdue, and when you start regulating, making all of these extra hoops for people to go through, and probably unnecessary positions, to be honest with you.
Well, a lot of those laws were put into place because we didn't know how this was going to shake out.
Yeah.
Like you remember all the laws about trying to protect what you could do as far as advertising goes, or how far you can be from certain other structures. I mean, some of these things are kind of ridiculous when you think about it, because the problems that people thought were going to happen didn't really happen in the way that we thought. If the worst thing that happened is maybe you smell weed in public places, you can smell cigarettes in public places at one point too. Kind of the same thing.
Yeah. I don't think
it's been nearly the scourge that I think people were expecting it to be.
Well, it depends on where you are, what the weather is, and like the other night I was at the Xfinity Center. You could smell it a little bit, but it wasn't like an overwhelming smell of it. Because a lot of people do the vape thing now anyway, so you're not really being able to smell it. But I remember when we did that show up in Northampton for the live show that we did.
The Academy of Music.
And when it was one of those nights that it was like stale air, like there was no breeze blowing and there was a little bit of fog, and all you could smell was everybody's burnt weed. And I used to use quite a bit, and it didn't bother me when you're doing it. But you have to be considerate of other people around who don't use it. It's just like smoking the cigarettes. There's a level of etiquette I think that people don't follow.
I mean, I'm a little bothered by the fact that you could be driving.
I was just going to say that.
And smell it around you. And you know it's not a skunk that got hit. It's like the car in front of you that's got Cheech and Chong, blasting away in there.
I can't believe how many people do that. They're just driving around all high, and they're clearly doing it out in the open while they're driving.
Well, the smell kind of gives you away.
I wouldn't be able to operate a vehicle. Yeah, like I'm that kind of person. If I get high, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to.
The last thing you want to do is go someplace.
I don't want to have a function. It's hard enough to even watch television.
I know. I agree with you.
I don't know.
And again, you still have some level of impairment. They can't figure out how to track that. But but as far as from the business end, if you talk to someone who owns or works at a dispensary, they'll talk to you about the kind of restrictions they have compared to any other business.
Yeah,
and it's a lot. It is very, very difficult to own one, build one, and keep it competitive.
Yeah.
Very hard. And that's been the state's problem.
Let's change topics. If you had the chance to ask God anything, what would you ask?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I'd have to go in with some prepared questions.
See, if I had a vacation coming up, I would be like, hey, God, where's the best barbecue place that serves craft brews and is family friendly?
That's the question you're going to ask God.
No, according to a new report, a growing number of tech users believe that AI is actually God. They think they're accessing the secrets of the universe through ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's it.
Many people have been dipping their toes into AI by trying ChatGPT for recommendations on places to go, suggestions on DIY repairs, and to summarize information. But some of them are really diving into the deep end. People online say they've seen people fall into the spell of AI, treating chatbots like companions, lovers, and even magical spiritual forces.
Listen, if you really want to have access to God, I'm pretty sure he's not going to make you download an app from the iStore.
You don't know that. Maybe he's getting in on the biz, too.
Maybe, but I think there's probably other ways. I mean, he's talked to people through burning bushes. He's done.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy can be pretty creative. Yeah, downloading an app just to get closer to God, I think he works better than that.
And even if they don't believe the messages they're getting back are from a religious entity, some people think that they're able to talk to God and angels through ChatGPT.
Anytime I've tried to just kind of research, what's out there for AI, like on your iPhone, the moment I see that there's a monthly charge, it's the moment I no longer care about AI on my phone.
Well, I've used it before, but I don't have like a profile or a thing. I'm just using the web-based version.
Yeah.
I guess in order to unlock it, you have to pay for a subscription and talk to it.
Yeah, that's too creepy.
What am I going to talk to it about?
I don't know. What are you talking about to people on a normal day?
I don't know, but I wasn't impressed by the information that it was giving. It wasn't something I couldn't not Google myself, like information.
Yeah.
It wasn't giving me any information about anything.
You're going to get the same results.
I guess, there's been use of it for commercial scripts, how to, but even then, you look at it and you're like, well, that's not even the right spelling or that's not even the right wording that you would use to put these things together. So I'm not even really sure what people are getting at it.
I'm finding myself getting absolutely nothing out of it.
One person even said, here's my prediction. Within 24 months, this will turn into an official church with clergy and organized services. That might all be extreme. After all, ChatGPT can seem otherworldly, but it's actually just an improved search engine which can still be confused, nonsensical, and flat out wrong.
Right.
But if you spend any time on social media, you know that there are people who sound like they're in a cult. Some of those accounts may be bots, but that doesn't mean they can't trick actual humans into believing them. So I asked ChatGPT, could there be a rise of AI bot gods with human followers? And it said, yes, it's not just possible. It's already starting to take shape in early primitive forms. It may sound like science fiction, but it touches on several real and intersecting trends in technology, psychology, and culture. Well, there you go.
I just went on ChatGPT. I said, what is the funniest joke ever?
Yeah.
It's pushing out jokes that are not funny.
Give me one.
I told my wife she was drawing her eyebrows too high. She looked surprised.
Ah, yeah.
Why don't graveyards ever get overcrowded?
Why?
Because people are dying to get in.
That's not even funny.
It's not. I'm telling you.
Death isn't funny.
I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. It's impossible to put down.
Oh!
A man walks into a library and asks for a book on paranoia. And the librarian whispers, it's right behind you.
And you know what? You can. You want to hear more of these antics? ChatGPT will be performing at the Shortstop Bar and Grill on June 19th.
Yeah, for $20.
For
I would demand a refund.
$20 dinner and a comedy show.
Yeah, not...
The whole show is written by ChatGPT.
Not funny. Yeah. Not funny.
Simulations. Have you heard of this, folks? Your Pioneer Valley forecast today. is going to be a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 91. Tomorrow, thunderstorms with a high of 81. It is 70 right now in downtown. Oh, we missed 69, giggity. Downtown Springfield, I'm Steve Nagle, and that's the news on Rock 102. Oh, yeah.
It's 8:50, almost 8:52 with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Well, people are still commenting on that tipping video.
That's a big video, man.
This guy, Trevor, actually unloaded everything, set up the table, organized by size, kept inventory, will pack everything up and load it back onto the bus and have to do it again the next show. It's a small token of appreciation. I do tip, but nowhere near what I would at a restaurant.
Yeah, you know, he's saying this.
Yeah.
But I'm going to bet you that if he was buying, I don't know, let's say he's buying he goes to a Halsey show.
Yeah.
And he goes to the merch table and he buys himself a $50 t-shirt. He's telling you to tip, but is he really going to tip? I'm going to guess he's probably not.
Probably not.
He's just want to,
Just
cast
wants to
judgment
engage.
on you.
And then somebody else said Trevor gets paid by the hour, not based on tips. And then he says, well, but then why pay a waitress wages rather than making the restaurant owner pay them? What's the difference here? You're all missing the big point. No, you're missing.
The big point.
Waitresses only get paid $2.63 an hour. Or whatever the hell it is. Did it go up? Maybe it went up like, 25 cents or something like that?
Maybe. I don't know.
Sounds like the description of the job on the application. He knows what his duties are and accepted to pay for that work. Accepted that pay for that work. Why the hypocrisy between Trevor and the waitresses? Because they just said the wage difference.
Yeah, they work for the tips. That's the primary source of the income.
I'm complaining about it, but it's engagement. So thanks so much for commenting.
That's what really matters.
Appreciate it.
Hey, tomorrow on the show, we're going to do an open line Friday.
Maybe even two of them.
It all depends. Now, last week we added a fourth rule to the open lines. As you know, it has always been no foul language, no hate speech. Try not to act like a dink. Last week, I thought you did something that I thought was maybe the most ingenious idea you've ever had.
Well, I'm a trend starter, Bax.
You are. And I like this rule. You said you have to get in and out in 30 seconds. Make your point, move along.
Yeah.
30 seconds is all we're going to give you. Unless you make a good point and we feel like we could expand on it a little bit more, maybe we give you an extra 10 seconds, maybe an extra 15. Probably no more than that, but that's the way it goes. 30 seconds, you're in, you're out, which means if you're going to call on Open Line Friday, you better damn well know what the hell you're going to talk about.
You know where I learned that from? The great Neil Mursky.
Neil Mursky.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Who told me that brevity is really important. If you can just say what you need to say and get off the air, you still sound a little green. Not as green as I am. Ah!
Interesting from a guy that couldn't stop talking. But
that it was kind of weird.
and couldn't stop talking about himself. Anyway, but nevertheless, those are the rules. We'll do it tomorrow, 7 o'clock, maybe 8 o'clock too. It all depends. But let's try to follow the rules as close as we can. Okay?
All right.
Good. Because Linton Septic is paying for this, and I don't want them thinking, boy, did we waste our hard-earned money.
They knew what they were getting into.
Listen,
they
get into things that are much worse on a day-to-day basis than anything that they'll hear on this show.
I don't know. Have they pulled Mike Jones out of one of the septic tanks yet? That's when the pump stops and they have to pull the hose out. And as soon as he unclogs the hose, it goes, Mike Jones!
Hey, great event coming to the South End Community Center Saturday the 14th. It's the Springfield Wrestling Classic Convention.
Wrestling!
The biggest pro wrestling convention in the New England area. It's going to be a really, really cool place. And the South End Community Center is absolutely awesome. We have a pair of tickets to that event that could be yours if you're the 10th caller. 293-1021. Good luck to you.
Well, shucks, Baxy. Who doesn't like wrestling?
I love wrestling.
I love wrestling. I know not only do I like wrestling, I like a wrestling convention.
I tell you what. There ain't nothing I like more than grappling in the squared circle. What are you going to do if I got tickets between my kneecaps and I got to crust your skull in order to give them to you?
I like grappling in the squared circle with hot, greasy, sweaty men. That's what I like.
I like that, too. Yeah.
So if you're into hot, sweaty, greasy men and you want to go to a wrestling convention, Be the 10th caller now, 293-1021.
Now, I can't say that I've had anything to do with pro wrestling. I did it more on the scholastic end of it. Learned how to do the half Nelson, learned how to do the full Nelson, even learned how to do the father Nelson. But that was something else totally different.
You know, Roddy Piper's. Who was the Slim Jim guy? Who was
Macho Man Randy Savage.
You know what Macho Man Randy Savage's taint smelled like? It smelled like snapping into a Slim Jim. See, if I had remembered the name off that, it would have been a better time joke.
It's fine, Steve. It's fine. I liked it. It's 8:57 on Rock 102.
Caller.
And Joan Jett with Bax and Nagle on Rock 102.
Gonna be a hot one out there today. Sunny and a high of 91. What's your favorite Grundle sweat story? High of 91 tomorrow. Mix of sun and clouds with some thunderstorms possible. High of 81. It is 70 right now in downtown Springfield. Bax, are you ready for some fun facts?
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life.
The backs of
The
life.
backs of life.
All
We're
right.
not
What do we got,
always
Steve?
kings and queens.
All right, number one.
Number one.
Shopping carts debuted in 1937.
Debuted? I think it's called a debut.
You say it your way, I'll say it my way. Tomato, tomato. Men hated them. Women thought they looked like baby buggies. Too many dudes afraid it screamed, "She sat on my seat warmer and now we're shopping for bibs." Number two. Gone with the Wind was fined $5,000 for saying damn. And yet my ex-wife said worse while reverse cowgirling the cable guy in our recliner. Number three. In the 1300s, men got their junk inspected to prove impotence for divorce. Medieval foreplay was just a guy in robes yelling, "Show me the limp lance, will ya?" That's how I got divorced for the third time. Number four. Barbra Streisand's had number one albums in 6 decades. More consistent box topping than a porn star with a metronome. Number five. Cookie Monster started in an IBM training film. And he's been face deep in warm stuff ever since. Cookies, computers, and co-workers. Whoever had crumbs. I got a buddy. and there you go. That's your fun.
Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it hits you in the nads. The backs of life.
The backs of
The
life.
backs of life.
It's
We're
Bax
not
and Nagle on Rock
always
102.
kings and